Good morning. It is Wednesday morning. I hope you guys had a great Tuesday. So not feeling 100%, but I did want to go ahead and get some notes and video to you about House of Mirth. I know that this is right up your guys' alley, right? Four guys reading the House of Mirth, all centered around a 29-year-old woman and all of her love interest and what happens with society and class and feminism and all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, you will have attached with the email is this wonderful, I don't know if you can see that, I'm trying to hold it up, some notes. It has 3 columns, and you'll be able to see that here. And we're going to go through your notes with that, because this is going to help you tremendously when it comes to writing your next paper, which is all about how our author, Edith Wharton, so let's go ahead and you're going to write that down on the top of your paper. Edith Wharton, how she uses this book and uses the character of Lily to talk about what happens when we are in a situation that we're not familiar with. So what is naturalism, and why does it have to be a woman? So she's using a feminist standpoint to say, okay, this is what society is thinking of women, and that is why this story works. So we're looking at from 3 standpoints today: feminism, society and class, and morality / naturalism, because what we do with our choices when it comes to being in an alien environment, naturalism, and our character in an alien environment. So that's why we're looking at morality, which is like character in a way. If you're with a group of people you don't know and you see some kid being bullied, what choice do you make? Because you're in an environment with people you don't know, but it could be a familiar place to you because one, you could have stood up for somebody before. So, but because you're with people you don't know in an environment you're not familiar with, what would you do? It's different when you're at CCA and you see a kid, maybe not being liked as much or being picked on a little bit, and you guys as leaders, you step in and you say, okay, knock it off, guys, we're all friends, we don't have cliques here, or whatever that you might say. So what do you do in an alien environment? So I'm going to give you some quotes. I'm going to write down the chapter it's in, also the paragraph number, at least in my book. Hopefully it's the same in yours. I don't see too many variations in the paragraphs like might be in some other books. Okay, so the first thing we're dealing with, of course, is feminism, because Lily is our main character. So not just quotes, but we're going to write down some notes here. So Lily is our main character. Remember last week we talked about being pure and innocent. That's what Lily means. So we're going to go with that here. So the first one is chapter 1 and paragraph 77. So that's how we're going to write it here. So you guys can go back and check it out. And she says, what's become of Dilworth, he asked. So we see that there's an automatic distinction, a line between men and women, because somebody is asking about Dilworth. Dilworth had recently gotten married, and all of a sudden he has changed his character. So that could also fall under naturalism in many ways. Going to go ahead and put an N here for morality and naturalism, because he's in an environment now that he's not familiar with. He's married. He's not a single bachelor anymore. And so with that, he's Sheldon is saying, okay, so what's become of him? He's married, he's changed. And what's this saying is that men, once they're married, are supposed to be silent. And that's it. Women hold the power in this. So, don't know if you agree with that. If we see that the same in society, but there's like happy wife, happy life type thing. So are men being passive and giving women exactly what they want? But then you would see like a feminist standpoint of, well, men expect women to have like in the 50s, have their cocktail ready for them when they get home and all made up and the house perfect and the kids put to bed and da 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 da. So either way, we're looking at an equality standpoint now in a way, is that it's okay for a woman to hold power. It's okay for the woman to hold power. Let's go over here for one for society and class. Chapter 2, paragraph 38. Okay, smaller and thinner than Lily, crumpled, and curiosity self-assertive, spirit great deal of room. So we're talking about, in here, it's the woman is smaller than Lily, but yet her presence is humongous. It fills the room. So the character that they're speaking about is Evie. So smaller than Lily, but presence is greater than the room. So we're getting about this, that women hold much power while men have to work for it. So they're taking, women just have this ability to be able to walk into a room and command a presence. Or command respect, command a presence, whatever word you want to write down there. But think about it, you know, people who just walk into a room and automatically, like, you're drawn to them. Well, women of high society, if they had money, they could walk into a room and command power or respect. Men had to work for it. They had to prove that they had money, which, you know, money is power, money is influence in any society. But Edith Wharton is pushing that onto us and showing that there's a difference between how men and women are treated in this. Okay, let's hop over here to more. Let's do one for morality. So what is morality? It's the choices we make. It's how we as Christians would say how the Holy Spirit guides us. It's the choices between good and evil. And it's that compass. It's the moral compass. So if I write down this word, compassion. Compassion has two words in it. I'll give you a second to take a peek at that before I let you in on to what I feel like what it means. And this area is important because, just so you know, this is one of our keywords, our code words, to make sure that you've listened to the video. So code word compassion, this needs to be in your notes. Circle it for me. Awesome. Compassion has two words. It's our compass, but it's also a passion. So when we think about compass and passion, we put it together for compassion. Our compass, our moral compass, guides us. And passion is what we feel for other people, how we treat other people. So when we put that together, compassion truly is, you know, it's how we feel, and it's how we treat, and it's how we show respect or dignity for somebody else. It's our way of communicating with other people, even without words, our compassion for them. So our moral compass. So we see that in chapter 1, paragraph 48. We're so different. She says, and this is Lily, she says she's talking to Sheldon about his cousin, and she's a woman who's sitting, has her own apartment, and Lily desires to be able to have her own apartment. She has this desire for freedom and independence, but she's not willing to show that she's the wrong type of girl here, because the wrong type of girl, unless you're older, widowed, unmarried, you know, like unmarriable, it's the word that she uses. And then she would never have her own apartment. She says, we're so different. She says she's good at being good, and she says, I'm good at being happy. So not necessarily just being a good girl, like this other woman is like good and Lily wants to be happy. So is there a way to do both? And what we see over the course of Eden Wharton's story is that it's not really possible to be happy and good unless you step away from the environment that she's in. So you have to go back to finding your center and being in an environment where you're comfortable, not complacent. It's different things. And you can find a way to be good and happy, because Lily never finds that. It's very sad. This is not a fairy tale when you guys read the rest of the book for next week. This is not a fairy tale ending. And Edith Wharton does it on purpose because it's real life. This could have been based on some girl's life. And not everything has a happily ever after, and we see that there's choices and consequences for those choices continually, and she has to pay with some consequences from her own choices, but she suffers consequences of other people's choices, and it leads her down a very dark path. Okay, next one, we're going to go back over here. I'm going to give this some erase here. Let's go back, chat a little bit more about feminism. Ooh, chapter 9 was a good one. Chapter 9, paragraph 11. We see that Edith Wharton uses illusion. Do you guys remember what illusion is? Not illusion, like magicians, woo, but illusion. That's a literary reference. So that'll be important, because part of your prompt in your essay will be, sharing something like, how does she use illusion to show feminism or naturalism? So there's a couple of cases. So Miss Peniston, who is Lily's aunt, who has raised her, comments and talks about the helmeted, who is a Greek goddess of wisdom. So she's almost asking Lily to channel her to be wise in her decisions. She's tries to be wise, but she's so out of her element, and she's finding it hard to be completely clever all the time. Okay. Another one for society and class. Chapter 13. Paragraph 78. And then when I'm done with this, we're going to cut it and I will do a second video. This just helps it upload faster. So she says, I hated my room at Mrs. Peniston's. Its ugliness and nothing was hers. So she's talking about the room at her aunt's, because that's where she lives, and she hates that nothing is hers. Again, this is her cry to be better, a cry to have wealth or money, because money equals independence in her mind. So these are all important characteristics of Lily. Let's just do one more. I think we can fit one more over here. So chapter 3, paragraph 10. Miserable place to Lily. The laws of the universe. So Lily's, Edith Wharton is telling us how miserable the world is to Lily, and she's in an unknown territory. She's not happy. She's in a place of ignorance and self-centeredness in the first half that you read, what we'll call book 1, because next is book 2. She had Edith Wharton divided in 2 books, which is powerful in that she doesn't just keep the story going, but she makes a distinction of this is Lily here and this is Lily here. So what we know of Lily and what you've read is that she's not happy, she's ignorant in many ways. Ignorance is a strong word. We can say not clever. She's falling into the trap of high society. So as we end this section, and before I start the next video, our next keyword would be clever. So go ahead and write that down and make sure you circle it. I'm going to see that on your notes. Okay, I will see you guys back in a little bit.